Om Namah Pranavartaya Shuddha Jnanaika Nirmalaya Prasantaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Arunagiri Mupetam Sachidananda Murtim Ramana Iti Prathivyam Vishrutam Jnana Suryam Gahana Hridaya Vidyam Leelaya Bodhayantam Satatam Ahamameyam Sadgurum Samsmaran. Humble pranams. We will continue with our study of Devi Kalottaram. So, 54th verse. Amastakam Pada Talavasanam Sa Antarbahischa Charma Patavasanam Tad Kritsana Meva Amrita Rupa Manyate Chidrupa Matmanam Ananyam Siddham. Bhagavan's translation: Uchi Mudal Ullangal Alavai Utpurambu Icharuma Porvai Iridiam Ichadatuku Anniya Chittai Muludumai Amudamumai Tane Manniya Anma Nan Madi. Continuation of the Chit Jada Granthi, explaining in a different way. Here he says, Ishvara says, Anniya Chittai Muludumai Amudamai. Jadattukku Anniya Chittai. He says this is Jada Rupam, this is insentient. This body does not have sentience. It is Jadam. It does not say I, says Bhagavan all the time. The body cannot say I. Consciousness is totally apart from this body, but somehow they have come together. This is the most mysterious thing. Consciousness, which is formless, which is all pervasive, somehow contracts itself to a body, and then we call that body as ourselves, me. This is what we say. And then here he says, from the top of the head to the bottom of the soul, this is all what we call as I. Our concept of I is from the top of the head to the bottom of the soul. 1 nanometer outside of this is the world. And 1 nanometer inside is me. This is how we have conceived ourselves. The most mysterious thing, says Ishvara. Amastakam Pada Talavasanam. Padatalam, the soul of the foot. Sa Antarbahis Charma Patavasanam. Charmam is the skin. We have wrapped ourselves in skin. And this dimension we will very zealously protect. This is what we are. Anything above this is our cap, not me. Below this is my chappal, not me. So we very zealously, very diligently, we protect this particular territory and then call this as I. But consciousness, it is all pervasive. You cannot say the consciousness does not exist above the head or below the body. It is there everywhere. So how does this happen? How has this happened? Bhagavan gives a very rich imagery. Answering one devotee, he says, the ego is like a monkey. One hand of the monkey is on pure chit consciousness. The other hand catches hold of matter, insentient matter. And between these two things, the monkey swings. It derives the consciousness from this hand, but all its attention is on this matter. And in the process, it has shrunk the spirit to the measure of the body. By touching this matter, what it has done is this all-pervasive consciousness has been compressed. The spirit has been bottled up. Pun not intended. It has been bottled up. And then we call this is me. So this is the most mysterious thing, says Bhagavan. How has it happened? In Ulladu Narpadu, we know this very popular verse. Jada udal nan ennadu. This inert body cannot say I. Nan ennadu. Satchit udiyadu. The Purna Satchit, this consciousness, it is all the time the same. It does not go up and come down. It does not appear and disappear. It can never change at all. That is the definition of consciousness. It is not transformable. It is unchangeable. Satchit udiyadu, udayasthanam. It's rising and falling. What rises and falls is our egoic feeling and not consciousness, full consciousness. Satchit udiyadu, udal alavaha, to the measure of this body. Nan ondru udikum, nan ondru, he says, by saying that ondru, nan ondru, something called as this I. That is the meaning of non ondru. Something called as this I somehow comes in between. Nan ondru udikum idayil, in between, this wedding of two incompatible things is somehow surviving. And we take it as the most real thing. Then we go about it. And the monkey which is swinging between this matter and this pure consciousness, as I said, it has reduced the matter to the measure of the body, the spirit to the measure of the body. Matter, the hand holding the matter has reduced pure consciousness to the measure of the body. So this is something that is mysterious. And then he says, Bhagavan says that though it is all the time connected to consciousness, it never looks at it. It derives all the activity from the hand that is supplying consciousness, but never looks at it. All the time, the vision of this monkey is on the hand that is holding the matter. And in the process, it sees a world around, plays with the world, and when it feels tired, it takes rest by removing the hand from the matter, putting it back on consciousness, goes to sleep, takes rest, once again in the morning, comes back, keeps the hand on this, and then the play continues. Constantly, this keeps on happening. And Bhagavan says the only way our attachment to the body can go is by constant, relentlessly looking at that hand which is holding the matter. The hand that holds the matter is I sense. This is the meeting point of the spirit and the matter. This I sense, the feeling of I. By constantly looking at it, the grip on the matter will relax. Bhagavan says it will relax. The grip will loosen. And gradually, over a period of time, the hand can come out of the matter completely and become one with the other hand, only with consciousness. And this is actually the mukti, the release from matter. This is mukti. This is a very rich imagery, but what Bhagavan says is that the time, the minute you are able to completely let go of this I sense as it is, you become a mukta. And the Jivan Mukta, like Bhagavan, they have completely cut their connection with the matter in this process. They only enjoy a consciousness of pure self as it is prevailing in deep sleep, but fully aware. It is awareness combined with the mind-free state of the sleep. So for him, there is no existence of the body. I said, Ashariram. We saw that verse where he says, Ashariram, there is no body for him. He actually does not feel the body because of this reason. And the only way it can happen, as Bhagavan says, is your constant attention to the eye sense, because that is the place, the meeting place of these two incompatible things, and that is where there is the mystery, and that's the crime scene. You have got to really maintain the crime scene. The crime has happened there. So keep on analyzing this crime scene. You will be in a position to release yourself from the bondage of this matter. You become the spirit that you are. So here he says, from the beginning of the head to the end of the foot of the soul, we maintain this territory as our own. And Kavyakanta has translated this beautiful verse of Bhagavan into Sanskrit. Deho na janati. Very simple but very effective. Deho na janati. This Deham has no capability of knowing anything. This knowledge comes through somewhere else, from somewhere else. It is supplied with all the necessary energy for you to pick up the knowledge, but by itself, it does not know anything. Deho na janati, sato na janma. For the sat, that purna sat, na janma. There is no birth at all. It is same as it is. Deho na janati, sato na janma, he says. Deha pramano, this measure of this body. Deha pramano anya udayati madhye. Something rises in between this deham and this pure consciousness sat. And this is known as ahankriti. Bhagavan gives a whole list. He says whatever has come in between is known as chit jadagranti. It is bandham. It is jivan. It is nutpamai, means subtle body. That is the subtle body. What we call as the eye sense is the subtle body. Not the gross body, but the subtle body. Ahanta, it's samsaram. The entire samsaram comes by this simple act of holding on to the matter. Everything begins with this particular thing. So, in this verse, what it says is, Chidrupam Atmanam Ananya Siddham. It is apart from the Deham. This is Chidrupam, Aham, I, and Chit alone, nothing else. And Amritam, it is immortal. When the consciousness which is connected with the matter, what happens at the time of death? Does consciousness disappear from the body? This is a question. Does the corpse have consciousness? Consciousness should be there everywhere. Cannot be any place where the consciousness cannot exist. But we call it as a dead body, corpse. How does it happen? What is the meaning of this? Does the dead body have consciousness or not? The body, or for that matter, any matter, will also have consciousness. Then why do we say it is lifeless? Some link gets broken. That link is this nutpami, this sukshma shariram, that goes. Consciousness does not go out of body. Consciousness cannot move out of anything. It has no place to go. It occupies all the places. It has no place to go. So what goes is this subtle body. That leaves, and based upon the karma it has accumulated, it goes and takes on another body, and the play begins with a new body. Consciousness remains as it is. You can imagine the electricity and the bulb. This example I gave. Electricity, does it go when the bulb fuses? Electricity is there. Electricity is flowing from the socket into the bulb, What has happened? That element has broken. The one that takes the current and then connects it with the filament, that is broken. But the electricity does not go. Similarly, consciousness never leaves. What leaves is only this subtle body that goes. The subtle body, which is pranamaya shariram, manomaya shariram. The sukshma shariram, pranamaya kosham, manomaya kosham, vijnanamaya kosham. Along with that, it carries the karma that has been accumulated, and then this goes and occupies another body. And then the play begins in the other body, as I said. Tirumular, one of the greatest of Tamil saints, he talks about this, the time of death, what happens. Ooreல்லாம் கூடி ஒலிக்க அழுதிட்டு, entire village gathers when death happens. ஒலிக்க அழுதிட்டு, they're all crying at the loudest of their voices. பேரினை நீக்கு பிணம் என்று பேரிட்டு. First thing that goes, the name goes. You are not no longer so and so. You are called as the body. Has the body been removed? This is what we say. பேரினை நீக்கி பிணம் என்று பேரிட்டு, சூரையங்காட்டிடை கொண்டு போய் சுட்டிட்டு. Take to the masanam, the funeral ground, and there you burn off. The last sentence is very good. நீரினில் மூழ்கி, they take a ritual bath. After that, people all go to the smashan. நீரினில் மூழ்கி நினைப்பு ஒழிந்தார்களே. They forget promptly. Of course, barring some close people. You have forgotten. All these things that you are really dancing about in this life is of nothing at all. Don't stay in the memory of anything at all. It's just an insignificant thing. Almost all granthas, they talk about this, the transient nature of the life. In Tiruvaimozhi, this is a Vaishnava Grantham. In the very beginning again, Nammalvar says, Minnin nilayadam mannuyir yakkaigal. Like a flash of lightning, minnal, we say. A flash of lightning, that's all your life is. Mannuyir yakkaigal, minnin nilayadam. He says. So, what happens is at that time, that fusing that I talked about is, goes, and that unnatural wedding ends for one more wedding to begin later on. We are transmigrating from one to the other, carrying with us all our good karmas and the bad karmas, and this keeps on happening. Why don't we really look at this insignificance of our life is the question all the people ask. So when life is there, this is what should occupy our mind. This puzzle is the only puzzle to solve, not any other thing. You are so much worried about the cricket score. You are so much worried about so many other things in life, all kinds of things. Muruganar says, Vigadangal parati veengalam pokadu akalangana nambai andan. Vigadangal, all these things are all, we want fun. All these are all fun stories. Every day, all our mind is occupied with this stories of fun and pleasure and this and that. Vigadangal parati veengalam pokadu, he says. Don't waste your life. The puzzle of how these two things have come about is the only puzzle to be solved, and Bhagavan has given a method also. The method is constantly look at this I sense, this I feeling, and the grip will go. Even if it does not completely break, even when the grip relaxes, it is going to be to that extent good for us. We are not going to be bothered about the body. Right now, we are bothered only about the body, nothing else. Our body consciousness is so very important, All corporations are thriving on this body consciousness, They have to keep on telling you how to nourish your body, how to keep your body, so many things. So our society has become one centered on body consciousness. And Something is there beyond this body is something we have completely forgotten. Only sages like Bhagavan have to come once in a way and then remind us, yes, there is something more. One can be without body consciousness and one can be very happy. In fact, that is the greatest of happiness. All these verses are for that reason. So he says here, இஜடத்துக்கு அந்நிய சித்தாய் முழுதுமாய், your completion happens only then. If you are associated with the body, that vast consciousness has shrunk into a small space and suffers. Murudumai, it becomes complete. Amudamumai, you become immortal in that process. Tane manniya anmanan madi. Tane manniya. The self is self-established. It does not require any space because it is in its own space. Sve mahimni pratishtita, says Upanishad. It is established in its own glory. It does not require anything else. It is complete by itself. Go to that state and be that state. Says this verse. The next verse. Yishoham eva asya characharasya. I am the Ishvara. That is how a jnani feels at the time of, when the chit jada granthi that goes. Pitacha matacha pitamahascha. I am the father, the mother, and also the grandfather of this entire universe. I am the grandfather. I am the father. I am the mother. Says a jnani. Dhyanam samastaya yadam padam chaturtam. By standing, taking your stand in the turiya padam chaturtam, this turiya, being established in turiya, dhyayanti mameva vimukti kamaha. By going towards the turiya padam, by concentrating on the self alone, all the people who are meditating, they are meditating only on me. Because I am the beginning of everything. I am the primary cause. I am the causeless cause of everything. That's the feeling of a jnani. The Upanishad says, Sadaiva Saumya idam agra asit. Sat eva Saumya idam agra asit. Before everything began, this existence has always been there. From this existence, something came out and it became this whole universe. Ekameva advitiyam. It remained as one. Advitiyam. No two at all there. Just the Kevala Vastu was there. Tadekshata, at that time it seems, it decided, Bahusyam Prajayayeti. Let me become many. I am one. Let me become many. And the play began. The creation began. This is one way of describing the creation. In the beginning, there was only this existence and nothing else. That's what is meant by I am Jagat Mata. I am the Jagat Pita. I am the Pitamaha. In fact, all the great saints have said the same thing. Munnai Paramburutkum, Munnai Paramburule, Pinnai Pudumaikum, Pertuma Petriane. You are more ancient than the most ancient. And you are more modern than the most modern. How Manika Vachakar sings this way. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan, Krishna says, Pitahamasya Jagato. I am the Pita of this entire Jagat. This comes in the 9th chapter. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yogam. The sovereign secret. Krishna is revealing the Raja Guhyam. The sovereign secret is being revealed here. Pitahamasya Jagato. Mata, I am the mother. Dhata, I am the sustainer. Pitamahascha, I am. Why it is called as Pitamaha? Because from Vishnu, Brahma came, Prajapatis and all these people came and others came. So I become the Pitamaha also. Gatihi, I am the Gati. I am the Bharta. I am the sustainer. I am the one who is supporting everything. Sakshi, I am the witness of everything. Nivasaha, I am the stay. Sharanam, I am the refuge. Suhrit, I am the friend of everybody. Prabhavaha, I am the beginning. Pralayaha, I am the end. Sthanam, Nidhanam, I am the treasure. Bijam avyayam, Bijam, I am the seed of all existence. So beautiful these verses are in Bhagavad Gita, a group of verses where Bhagavan, Krishna, reveals his actual thing. Whenever Ishvara or Krishna say I, they don't mean the manifested I, not the body. With Shankam, Chakram, they are not meaning that. They mean the universal I, which is common for everybody. All the religions only talk about this one I. Everything is that I alone. Aham. Aham Nama Abhavat, says Upanishad. So Bhagavan says the first name of God is I. It is even earlier than, it is even greater than Om, he says. Aham is the first name of God. So here, that's what he uses here. Ishoham evasya characharasya. Pita cha mata cha pitamahascha. Dhyanam samasadhya samasthaya padam chaturtam dhyayanti mame vimukti kamaha. Those who are desirous of mukti. இந்த சராசரங்களுக்கு ஈசன் நான், தாயுடனே தந்தையும் தந்தைக்கு தந்தையும் சிந்தனம் கொண்டு அத்துரிய நற்பதமாம், the Turiya state, எனையே சிந்திப்பார். Whoever is meditating, they are meditating on me. Mukti விருப்பர் முனைந்து. So this is the take from the Advaita side. Let us take a small diversion because I think too much of Advaita. There is another way of looking at the whole thing, and that is a very interesting way of looking at this. All these praises are there, you are the more ancient than the most ancient and all the thing. But then there was a poet in the recent times who looked at it in a totally different way. In bhakti, what is important is bhavam. And one has the license to call God anything. And people have done that, including our Bhagavan. Bhagavan, in one place he says, if I do not get that particular state, Narpadam, if I do not get it, only you are going to be blamed, Arunachala. It does not say that. He even goes a little beyond that and he says, people will erect a stambham of blame for you. Natta toonahum un paliye, he says. Normally we erect stambham for victories, victory memorial, there is a Vijaya stambham. One king fought against another king, he won a war, so there is a Vijaya stambham. But for you, an apavada stambham will be there, Arunachala. Natta toonahum un paliye. What is the pali? People will ask, why is this pillar here? And then others will say, no, something, Arunachala brought one innocent boy and abandoned him. This all will happen to you. So escape from this. And then give me that state, he says. So these are all licenses that are given to Bhaktas. Sundaramurti Nayanar, they went ahead and then scolded Ishvara in any possible manner. But this poet that I am talking about, he pities. He says, I have only sympathy for you. That's why it is a very extraordinary kind of this thing. All of us know this song. In my childhood, it was very famous. The poet writes, Tandai Thai irundal ulagathil unakkinda thalvellam varumo ayya. If you had had parents, would you have really suffered these indignities? If you had parents, you didn't have any parents at all. That is why you are going through all these indignities. And he gives a big list of indignities and humiliations that you are suffering. Kallal uruvan adikka. He says, somebody pelted you with stones. And this reference is to one Sakya Nayanar in Periya Purana. The Sakya Nayanar is a Buddhist monk. He would have his residence in one place, and through some, very forest way, he would reach his monastery a few kilometers away. Every day he would walk. One day he noticed something that he had not noticed all along. There was a beautiful shrine of something. He goes near that shrine And there he sees the Shiva Lingam. Something happens to him at the time. When he looked at the Shiva Lingam, there is a surging bhakti, surging love for Shiva. Totally inexplicable. This Buddhist monk has that great bhakti, and he stands there stunned, looking at the Shiva Lingam. And after some time, he thinks, I have to offer something. He had not brought anything with him. He looks here and there. Is there any fruit, anybody, anything that I can pick up from here? Nothing. He finds a stone. He goes to the stone and throws the stone with all bhavam on Shiva. He had thrown a stone, and he felt so happy after throwing the stone on the Shiva Lingam. So every day he made it as a ritual. And one day, for some reason, he forgot. He passed by, he forgot to carry out his ritual. Then he felt there was a voice. Emmai indru marandiro? Did you forget us today? It was a voice that he heard, and he was stunned. He runs towards the Shiva Lingam, hugs it with great love, overwhelmed by the grace of the Lord. Today, did you forget us? It was a reminder given by the Lord to him. He hugs it. And Periya Puranam says he merges with a Buddhist monk. This is a very short story. Somebody who threw stones and merged with God. So that is what is the reference here. Kallal oruvan adikka. Uyir silikka. Kalil seruppal oru vedan vande udaikka. The reference is to a hunter. He says, a hunter came and kept his leg with the footwear on you. What can be more of a humiliation? There can be no more indignity than this. Somebody keeping a chappaled leg on you. Vedan vande udaikka. The reference, of course, all of us know, it's about Kannappa Nayanar. Within just 3 days, an ordinary hunter in a forest, he goes to the highest level of bhakti. 3 days is what it took. Comes and then sees one day in his hunting, young man, he sees a temple, he goes inside and he finds the Lord. And then immediately, again, the love surged within him and he had that immense bhakti. And then he thought, he is all alone here. There is nobody to protect him. So I believe he kept watch throughout the night, and he did it for 3 days. And he remembered, normally puja will be done. And then he remembered seeing puja being done by one priest some time back. He pours some water. He gives some offering for food and other things. He puts some flowers on him. So I should do the same thing. And he goes and collects. He does not have a vessel to carry water, so keeps it on his mouth. He takes water in his mouth, comes and spits it on the Shiva Lingam. And the only Naivedyam that he thought of was the meat, because that's the only thing that he ate. So various kinds of meats, will it be liked by the Lord? Let me taste it. Only the good meat I should give him. The priest who came to the normal priest who came to the temple was horrified to see. And because he was also a very good man, Shiva came to him in his dream and told him, don't come to any conclusion. Tomorrow you come and then see. Hide yourself and then see. You will know the worth of this person who is doing it to me. So we know the story anyway, but it's a beautiful story. He came and then offered all his things, and he found one eye bleeding. And he could not bear that pain. He felt pained. So he tried out all the things that he knew, all the tribal doctor, the herbal medicines that the tribal doctor, the tribe's doctor would give him. All those things he tries. He goes and gets some herbs and leaves and other things. Nothing works. The bleeding continues. Then he remembers, oh, he has told us that an organ transplant will work. If you give flesh in the form of flesh, it can sometime cure. Without any thought, he plucks out his eye and keeps it at the place where the bleeding is going on. The bleeding stops. He himself is bleeding. He is in great pain. But when the bleeding stopped in the Shivalingam, he felt overjoyed and then danced ably. Danced up down. Oh, I have found the cure. I have found the cure for my Lord. And then to his horror, he found the other eye also bleeding. So he again got stunned. What is this? But then the thought came to him, why am I worried? I have already found the solution and I have got one more eye. I have one more eye to give him. That's the thought that went through his mind at that time. And then when he was about to pluck out the next eye, the second eye, he thought for a while, I will become totally blind and I will not know where to keep this. That's when he keeps his leg to mark out the place where the other eye, from where the bleeding is going on. Sekidar, when he is narrating the story, he says, he is not able to say what he is able to do. He is going to do some unthinkable thing. That's what he says. The original, the most unthinkable thing is about to do now. Even the Lord could not bear it. He did not want him to go to that extent. So he says, comes out immediately, holds his hand, and then says, stop, Kannappa. This story is so moving that even Adi Shankara, you may not believe it, Adi Shankara talks about it in Shivananda Lahari. One of the most beautiful verses. In Shivananda Lahari, the most orthodox and traditional sannyasi of our times, he is talking about the most unorthodox and untraditional puja that this man performed, and he says he became the #1 bhakta. I just read out. It's a Shivananda Lahari. Margavartita Paduka. Margavartita, a well-worn chapel. He walked on this chapel in so many different areas. Margavartita Paduka. Pashupatehe Angasya Kurchayate. Kurcham is when you do puja, we take the holy grass and tie it around, make a pyramidal form and then keep it on a kalasam or some such thing. That is known as a kurcham. That is a crown. We are actually crowning the Varuna Devata or any other Devata. Kurchayate. My Lord, you took it so gladly as a crown. You felt happy that you are crowned by him when he kept his leg on you. Gandushambu Nishechanam Puraripoho Divyabhishekayate. Gandusham, the water that he carried in his mouth and sprayed on the Shivalingam. Nishechanam Puraripoho Divyabhishekayate. It becomes the Divya Abhishekam for you. Kinchit Bhakshita Mamsa Sesha Kabalam. He tastes various types of mamsam, meat, to find out which can be the tastiest of things for him to be given to the Lord. Kinchit Bhakshya Mamsa Sesha Kabalam. And that he offers it to you. And that becomes Navyopaharayate, becomes a fresh Naivedyam for you. Navyopaharayate. And then he says, the last sentence, Bhaktihi kim nakaroti. What is it that bhakti cannot achieve? Says Shankara. Bhaktihi kim nakaroti. Aho, what a wonder. Vanacharaha. This tribal Vanacharaha. Bhaktavatamsayate. He became a jewel amongst the bhaktas. He became the foremost of bhaktas by doing this. So, காலில் செருப்பால் ஒரு வேடன் வந்தே உதைக்க வில்லால் ஒருவன் அடிக்க. Song continues. Somebody hit you with his bow. There is Arjuna, when he wanted to get the Pashupatashtram, he has a fight with Lord Shiva. This is known as Kirata Arjuniyam. There's a book, the novel on this. Kirata Arjuniyam. Villal Uruvan Adikka. கூட்டத்தில் ஒருவன் பித்தா பேயா என்று அழைக்க. Sundaramurti Nayanar, when he was about to get married, Lord Shiva walks in as an old man and he says, you cannot get married without my permission. How can you get married? Because you belong to me, you are my slave. So this young man, so angry, he calls him Pitta. Are you a mad fellow? Are you a ghoul? Are you a ghost? Pitta peya endraike. Can there be a insult which is worse than this? Kuttattil oruvan Pitta peya endraike. We see Madurai Maran in Madurai, in Manika Vachaga is trouble. The king orders that he stand on the sands, the hot sands of Vaigai. Manika Vachaga takes a lot of money because he's a minister from the Pandya king, takes a lot of money. He has to buy beautiful horses from Arabia, from the harbor, the southern harbor, and then take it to the king. That was the purpose. On the way, he sees a temple, and then he spends all the money on the temple. And that's where he sees Lord Shiva also. So somebody goes and tells the king that this is what Manikavacha has done, and he puts him in jail promptly. What else will he do? Puts him in jail. And it seems in order to release him from the jail, Lord Shiva himself comes with 1,000 horses, beautiful horses from Arabia. He walks into Madurai to be handed over to the king. Even today, I believe in Madurai, this is celebrated as a festival. Somebody will dress up as an Arab, as a Muslim, go on a horse just to commemorate that event. So he came on 1,000 horses. He saw so beautiful. Then he released Manikavachagar. But that night, I believe all the horses, they all became jackals. And they ate up the rest of the horses and then ran away. And the king became once again very angry. And he says, what is this magic this fellow is performing? And then in a fury, I think he ordered that Manikavachagar should stand on the sands of Vaigai. Vaigai will never have any water at any time. So it will be always empty and there will be only sand. He made him stand in the mid sun. He was standing. So in order to, relieve him from that, a flash flood comes, so that, he doesn't have to suffer the heat. And the flood is so furious that it is about to enter into Madurai. So the king realizes that something urgent has to be done. So he says, everybody who is an able-bodied person in his house have to donate that person. He has to go and then work on that. We'll build and then repair the embankments and then see that the flood does not come into the city. So there is an old lady by name Vandi. She sells some sweetmeats. She doesn't have anybody to give to the king to do the work for him. At the time, Lord Shiva comes as a very young man, singing, dancing, comes to her. Granny, do you want anybody to help you? Work as a coolie for you? She says, yes. What will you give me? He says. He negotiates with her and then gets some. That pit, they say that I will get some. Whatever I make, I will give it to you. But he does not do any work. He keeps on, disturbing all others' work and then, dancing and singing songs and so on. The work of embankment repair stops completely because everybody is around this boy who is dancing around. The king sees this whole thing from a distance and in a fury, he comes near him. We see Madurai Maran Pirambal Adika. He lashed at you with his cane. So he says, the poet says, when all these things happen, whom did you think of? When we are in pain, we call out Amma, Appa, we say. But you don't have the luxury. Whom did you call out to? Whom did you appeal to? What a pitiable life you have. So this is how he ends the song. So pity is a very, very new thing, a new emotion to convey as a bhakti. This is written by a poet by name Ponnaya Pillai. It's about 100 years back. Comes from a musical family. He wrote the song. It became very famous and so on and so forth. I just thought that when Ishvara says, I am Pita, I am Mata, I am Pitamaha, this person is looking at it, oh, such a bad thing to have, not to have any parents at all. The other way of looking at it, just for that reason only I mentioned this story. He says here, Ishoham Eva Asya Characharasya, I am I am the Isha, Ishvara for this entire Characharam, the moving and the unmoving world. I am the Lord. Pita cha Mata cha Pitamahascha. Dhyanam samasthaya padam chaturtam dhyayanti mameva vimukti kamaha. Those who meditate, they are actually meditating on me alone. I alone am the receiver. All the worship, all the dhyanam, everything. I am the only receiver. I am the one, says the Lord here. Just as Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, here Ishvara tells that to Parvati Devi. There is, I think, time for one more. The 56th verse, Brahmadibhir Deva Manushya Nagaihi Gandharva Yaksha Apsara Anganaischa Yajnair Anekaihi Ahameva Pujyaha Mameva Sarve Pratipujayanti Viraman Mudalam Munnam Devar Penum Aramadar is Apsarastri. That is the Tamil word Bhagavan has used. Narar, humans, Yaksha, the celestial beings, Gandharva, Naga, Nirayalum, Yacham is Yajnam, Palavalum, Yan, Pujyan. Whenever there is a Yajna done, I am the recipient. Everything comes to me. It may be intended for Varuna, it may be intended for Agni or for any other god, but ultimately I am the recipient of all the worship, recipient of all these yajnas and pujas and namaskaras. I am the only one who is receiving everything. Yenaye archipararum. Whoever does any puja, it comes to me, says Ishvara. In Tirumandiram, there is this quotation is given by Kanakammal in her translation. Thane Disayodu Devarumai Nirkum. He stands with all the devas, all the yaksha ganas. He is standing in the space. He alone is there. All the other people are just worshipping him. Thane Udal Uyir Tattuvamai Nirkum. I alone am the actual principle of life. Udal Uyir Tattuvam. I am the one. Tane Kadal Malai Adi Umai Nirkum. I am the entire creation, all the oceans, all the mountains, everything is only me. Tane Ulahinil Talevanu Mame. I am the one who is the Ishvara of this entire universe, and whoever worships me, all those worships only come to me. You know, Vivekananda, when he came to Chicago and then gave his lecture, two things he quoted in the short speech, lasted for about 5-6 minutes. The most famous speech in Chicago by Vivekananda, he quotes two verses. One is this verse that we normally use during our daily worship. Akashat patitam toyam yada gacchati sagaram sarvadeva namaskaraha keshavam prati gacchati. Just as the water that falls as rain from the clouds, whether like they become streams and then rivers and then finally they reach only the ocean. Whoever worships, they all come to Keshava. Keshavam prati gacchati. He is actually, Vivekananda is actually spelling out the real goal and purpose of the world religion meet, world religious meet. All the religions are meeting there. The purpose of all the religions is only this. Who is the one who is worshipped? God is only one. You may have your own method of worshipping. You may have your own God. But ultimately, everything is only me, he says. So in order to point it out, he gives this quotation from this thing. It's a very short speech and a beautiful speech. You know, mesmerize the Western world. And for the first time, they were all so moved, this Western world. The principles of Hinduism was carried by Vivekananda and so well enunciated there. And he quotes from Bhagavad Gita, where the Lord again says that whoever's, one of the shlokas from Bhagavad Gita, Ye yata mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham. Whoever approaches me in a particular manner, I reach him in the same manner. The way you worship, if you conceive of me as snake, I will come to you as snake. You worship me as a formless being, I come to you as a formless being. In whichever form you worship me, the same form, I reach you, I approach you. He says, Tham stataiva bhajamyaham. Mama vartmanu vartante manushyaha apartha sarpashaha. All men follow my path in every way. Whatever I do, same thing is followed. And this is the real principle of the world religions. And this is what Vivekananda mentioned in his short and beautiful speech. So here Ishvara says the same thing. Whoever does anything, I am the one who is worshipped at the end. Everything comes to me. I am the only one. There is only one thing, and that is consciousness. Whatever we do, ultimately we are worshipping consciousness. It may have a form, but ultimately it leads you to that formless consciousness, and that is the entire secret of all the worship, is what he says. So with this, I will conclude today. Thank you.
This is written by Muruganar, but there are a couple of songs, paras from Bhagavan. This is about Deepavali, right? Naraka Chaturthi. Let me quickly give you the gist of that. Yeah. 1 second, let me just. Yeah, it's Narayana slew Naraka, so they say, who acts as if this wretched body where himself is Naraka, whoever slays him, questing whence this demon arises is Narayana himself. It basically says what Naraka Chaturdasi is, which is Diwali, and then it goes to say the ceremonial bathing and all that stuff. Victory over is seeking out dwelling place on slaying him. One bathes oneself in pure waters of awareness. So all the rituals we perform is to kind of indicate that we have, And then it says the demon Naraka who rules hell, the notion that I am this body is, where is this demon? Inquiring thus with the discus of Jnana, Narayana destroys the demon. And this day is Naraka Chaturdasi. Okay. And then searching out and slaying Naraka, who wallowed in the pureed body of flesh and eye, and the resulting dawn eternal of the self. This is the festival of light. So yeah, that's Deepavali. So that's kind of what the meaning of the song is. Let me see if I can, I remember. நரகனை மாய்த்தனன் நாரணனென்ப நரகுடனான நடப்போ நரகன் நரகன்யவனென நாடி தொலைத்தோர் நரகனை மாய்த்தவன் நாரணனாரே நரகன் உரை புல நாடி நடந்து நரகனை மாய்த்து மெய்ஞான நீராடல் நரக ஜெயத்துக்கு அறிகுறியான நரக சதுர்தசி நானமதாமே நரகுடன் நானா நரகுலகாளும் நரகனெங்கென்று சாய் ஞான திகிரியால் நரகனை கொன்றவன் நாரணனன்றே நரக சதுர்தசி நத்தினமாமே ஊனொன்றுடல் உருவாமூத்தை நரகத்தை நான் என்றழிந்த நரகனை தானுசாய் ஆபாதஞ்செற்றோலில் பேரான்ம சதோதயமே தீபாவளியா தெளி நரக உருவா நடலை உடல கிரகமகமெனவே கெட்ட நரகனாம் மாபாவியை நாடி மாய்த்து தானாயொளிர்தல் தீபாவளியான் தெளி மாபாவியை நாடி மாய்த்து தானாயொளிர்தல் தீபாவளியான் தெளி தானாயொளிர்தல் தீபாவளியான் தெளி